Hi guys, welcome back to the Chirping Bird, or if you're new here, hello, welcome. My name is Tal. I'm your Chirping Bird podcast host, and today, as you can tell, I am on my own. I'm recording my very first solo full-length episode, which I'm very excited about. I can't believe that I'm starting my own podcast and I'm doing it by myself because my first episode I decided that I would do it with my best friend Serena. If you guys haven't listened to that, I highly suggest you check that one out because we were talking about breakups, getting over exes, all of that fun stuff. So I really recommend if you guys are looking for like a big sister type of episode. But I really wanted to talk today about social anxiety because that is something that I deal with a lot, and I thought it would be something that would be good for me to talk about on my podcast because I do have a platform. Mind you, it's a very small platform right now. I am looking to grow, obviously, my YouTube and my podcast and my Instagram, my blog platforms to obviously a lot of people. I would love that. And I'm manifesting good things. I'm manifesting that that will happen. But for now, I just have to deal with what I have. And for those of you who do listen, I would love to share with you my personal experience with social anxiety, and maybe it can help something to listen to so you don't feel so alone in this, because trust me, there are so many people out there that have anxiety and depression and any sort of mental illness, and you don't even know it, and you probably think you're the only one. I want to be here for you guys, someone that you can talk to. Just remember that if you are feeling in your feels, you're getting in your feels, I am always here to talk to, so don't be afraid to send me a DM, or if you have my number, send me a text. But that is just kind of a trigger warning, I guess, for this episode. But before we get into all that heavy stuff, I thought that I would do a little bit of a highs and lows for the week. I wrote down a few things that I wanted to talk about. So the highs for my week are going to Toronto. So I went to Toronto earlier this week, like downtown Toronto. Me and Serena and I went to Kensington Market. For those of you who do not live in Ontario and don't know what Kensington Market is, basically it's like almost like a little village with a ton of thrift stores, cool food places, bakeries, antique shops, a lot of dispensaries. It's very like hippy dippy town. So we went there this week, and that was definitely a high for my week because I got a few things from the vintage store, and I just really had a good time hanging out with Serena and just visiting one of my favorite places in Toronto. The next thing that was a high this week was applying to University of Calgary. So it's not really applying because I got in regardless, but I'm doing a course next semester, not next semester, this coming semester, September, for marketing. So I'm very excited to be doing that, but because of COVID, everything is online, meaning I could basically pick wherever I wanted to go to school in Canada, and the price was right. University of Calgary won for me, so that is a high. Like, I am going to be doing a university course in the fall, so I'm very pumped about that. I'm a little bit nervous, not going to lie. I do have a little bit of anxiety going into it, feeling that I'm not going to pass. But you know what? It's only one course. I can really focus on my work for it, and I think it should go fairly decent. I'm hoping. You know what? Manifest good things. It's going to be great. It's going to be the best time ever. Gonna love the program. It's great. The next thing that I am really, it's a good high for this week, is dairy-free ice cream cones. I know this sounds stupid for it to be a high of my week, but you know what? The little things count. So there are these dairy-free drumstick ice cream cones in the grocery store now. Amazing. They taste just like regular ice cream. I absolutely love it. Cannot believe that they finally made dairy-free version of it. So now I can have it. No more stomach issues. It's great. So that is definitely the next high of my week. Now moving on to lows, because I thought I would, give you some highs, give you some lows, just mix it up. Everything in my life is not peachy keen. I do not want everyone to be thinking I've got my whole life together and I'm doing fabulous, because I'm not. So here are my lows. First one is my acne. I don't know what's going on right now, but my skin has been flaring up with acne, and it's that deep cystic acne, and it hurts when I wash my face. It's underneath the skin, and I don't know what to do about it. I feel like I need to go back to my dermatologist. I used to go to one when I was in middle school, but obviously my skin started to get better as I got older, so I stopped going. And now it's starting to get worse again. So I don't really know what to do. I'm kind of at a standstill here because I don't really want to go to a doctor's office really right now. I mean, I'm not overly afraid of getting COVID, but just my social anxiety is really preventing me from, I guess, kind of going out of my way to go to a new doctor, someone I don't know, out of my comfort zone. So I'm just kind of leaving it. So if anyone has any good skincare recommendations, let me know, because I really want to get rid of this cystic acne. And I need to know the goods. Let me know how to fix it. The next low is the weather. I know no one harassed me for this. I know this is a very unpopular opinion. Everyone loves sweater weather. And it is coming to that time, in Canada especially. The end of August, it's starting to get colder. You gotta wear your sweaters out now. Winter is around the corner, and I'm just not feeling it. I love the summer. I love the heat all the time, all day long. I could sit in the sun for hours. Absolutely love it. But the weather is getting colder. Summer's coming to an end, and I'm just not happy about it. I want it to be summer all year round. I know that means I've got to move to somewhere like Texas, California, Arizona, somewhere in the South, Florida, but I'm not really about that, because I don't think I could live in the States. So I just love it too much here in Canada. But if Canada had a very hot place all year round, I would be living there in a heartbeat. So that's kind of the end of my lows list. I only had 2 lows this week. I didn't really want to overwhelm For someone starting a podcast, you think I could talk. Overwhelm you with a large amount of lows, because I want to keep things not in a horrible mood. So the thing that I really wanted to talk to you guys about today is social anxiety, and I think that especially for someone who suffers from it before COVID, it really is hard now because things are starting to open up again. However, I do know a lot of people who didn't have social anxiety before are now dealing with it because we've been trapped inside for so long, and things are starting to open back up again, and people are starting to host things in their backyard, family gatherings, whatnot, and there's kind of not really that excuse to not go out anymore because we have masks. Masks are mandatory everywhere now. And, there's no real excuse to say no. And for someone who gets very anxious leaving the comfort of their own house, it's COVID was a perfect excuse not to leave. And now we don't have that excuse. So especially for me, I'm finding it very hard to get myself out of the house and go visit friends, see people. I mean, dealing with my social anxiety was awesome during Corona because I could really just focus on myself. But, now I'm slowly getting better, and the key to recovery here would be to get out and expose myself to social situations. And I'm just not having it. But I guess that's something that I'm really going to have to work on. And I know a lot of other people deal with the same thing. So I think just knowing that when I go to an event, there's probably going to be, 50% of the people feeling the exact same way as me. I guess that should be comforting. In a way, it does feel a little bit comforting. But then again, you have this information, you don't really know what to do with it. Yeah, okay, 50% of the people that I'm around have the exact same thing, are very socially anxious and don't like leaving the house. But, what can I do about it? Like, how is that going to help me? So I've kind of been brainstorming some things that have been helping me, and I thought I'd share them because it's a good way to help cope with these feelings. So the first thing is writing down all of my plans in my journal, like every single thing, whether it's going out for a walk with a friend, going out to the grocery store, legit everything that I do in a day. I just write it down in my journal, and that way when I open it up to the day, I basically have no option other than to do that activity. So I think it kind of holds me more accountable for situation, especially a social situation where you make plans with someone and you see it in writing. And for me, especially when I see it in writing, I'm not going to cancel because I see it in writing, it's happening. If I didn't write it in my journal, then it's so much easier to go and just text that person, hey, I'm not feeling well, I can't come over. Or, hey, I don't really feel like coming over right now, I'm, not feeling the greatest. Or, coming up with some other excuse. But when it's in your journal, crossing it out is so unaesthetically pleasing. So I just need to do it and cross it out. And you know what? After, I feel so good because I actually left my house. But obviously, getting to that point is very difficult. And then I also find that in that current situation, if I'm going over to a friend's house, that entire time I'm always thinking, oh my gosh, is it time to go yet? Oh my gosh, is it time to go yet? Because I constantly want to leave the uncomfortability of another person's house, or even if someone comes over to my house, I'm always, I guess, counting down the time till I'm alone, which I think is kind of bad. I shouldn't be counting down the time until the person leaves, or I leave that person's house, or like leave where we are. But that is something that I really have to work on. And I think having a plan for after your hangout time, in quotations there, have a certain event for a certain time right after. That way, that that event is going to come to an end. There isn't an indefinite time. There is a set ending time for your event. And then you can look forward to the thing that you're doing after. So maybe it's, going over to a friend's house in the afternoon, but you need to be back for tell yourself you need to be back for 5 so you can make dinner. That's giving you, in a way, an excuse to leave, but also holding you accountable to stay until that time, because then that person or people know that you are free until 5 o'clock and there's no need for you to leave earlier unless there's an emergency, obviously. But I think that it gives you something to look forward to after, so you're not stressed out the entire time about when you're going to leave. So that's something that's really been helping me. And then I also find that since everything is not in the same routine that we're used to, especially going out to the grocery store, that is something I dread now because I've got to wear a mask and there's lineups to get to the checkout. I find that it makes me very anxious the entire time that I'm in the grocery store. And, well, for example, we went to IKEA, my mom and I had a full on anxiety attack in IKEA because guys, I could not breathe because the whole experience was so overwhelming. There was just so many people, the showrooms were busy. I felt like the whole world was caving in on me and I didn't know what to do. And I think it's because everything's changed. You know, you're in your mask, you can't even breathe properly in the masks, for starters. And, you know, I shouldn't be complaining because I'm thankful that I'm staying safe and I have a mask to keep me from getting a horrible infection. And I know that the masks are good, it's keeping me protected, but it makes breathing and taking deep breaths so much harder. And catching my breath when I'm, you know, in the midst of a panic anxiety attack is so hard. So I think having everything in a different routine than you're used to than we were used to before the pandemic is definitely really hard, especially with people having social anxiety and, you know, your entire routine. If you're a creature of habit, you get this. Your whole routine and structure to the way you've always known to do things is changed up on you, and it really can affect you mentally. So I mean, I don't really have any recommendations for situations like that because obviously you can't say, no, actually, when I'm in the store, we don't need to line up to get inside the store, and we don't need to line up to get to the cash, and we don't need to wear masks because, those are the rules, and I don't want to get sick, so I'm going to follow those rules. But it's going against everything I've ever known, and I know change is good for you. Change is very good for your mind. It helps you learn how to adapt to current situations and blah, blah, blah. I know, but it is so difficult, especially for someone with social anxiety. I like to go out. I hate going out. I like to go out and know what's going to happen, know what's going on. And I think it's going to take me a long time to get used to this whole COVID rules and way of life, and it's definitely throwing me for a loop the past couple months, especially now things are opening up and I go out. That's something that I've really been struggling with. So if anyone else is feeling this, please let me know, because I would love to know that I'm not alone in this. And I just really hope that maybe there's like a doctor or something listening to this and can help me out, because I don't know any coping mechanisms for that one. So that is something that I feel like a lot of people with social anxiety have been dealing with. And just dealing with those panic anxiety attacks when I'm out in the grocery store or in IKEA and out with friends. It's too much for me. And then you have COVID on top of all of this. It's a lot. It is quite a lot. But you know what? I'll give you guys a little update on my life. I have been doing my program now for my eating disorder. For those of you who do not know, I had been diagnosed with bulimia back in the spring of 2020, this year, and I've been suffering with it for a while now, and I've just been in a transition program with the hospital, doing counseling, group work, eating meals together, and I've been doing it for about a month and a half now, which is super exciting because first of all, when I was diagnosed with this, I never knew that I had bulimia, and I never realized that I would have to go through an eating disorder program. But here I am, and I actually really like it. I find the counseling and the group stuff kind of therapeutic because I pick up some really good quotes and things people say. Some of these ladies really know how to put their thoughts into words. They're just so good at expressing their feelings and emotions, and I just get so much out of it. I feel 50 times smarter when I leave, and I can just resonate with it so much, and I find that I just don't feel so alone with everything going on after we leave our group call at the end. And I don't know, I've really been enjoying it. But that's kind of been the update for the past month or two. I haven't made an update video on YouTube about it yet. I was going to kind of do a sit down talk about it, but I think probably the best place to address it would be on my podcast, because I can just sit down and talk, and I don't need to worry about doing my hair or my makeup, getting all dolled up for my videos. I can just sit down in my big comfy t-shirt, no makeup on, and just talk to you guys. And honestly, it's like therapy. I feel bad sometimes for my group members with the program because they just have to sit and listen to me talk, blabber on about seasons of my life and, important things that are happening, and like change, be a strong boss woman. And I feel bad for them sometimes because they gotta listen to me talk for like 20 minutes straight about absolute nonsense. But I think that, if I do it all on my podcast, then they won't have to listen to me anymore. Probably not true, because I'm probably going to end up talking to them just as much. So that is, the update with all of that. I have about 3.5 more months left of this program. I've already done a month and a half, so total amount of time you're doing it for is 5 months. And there's so much that I learn in this group, and I want to maybe in a few weeks do a whole podcast episode on everything that I've been learning in it. I do a lot of nutrition and a lot of interpersonal feeling stuff, how to be assertive with your feelings, how to say no to people, just all of these situations, relating it right back to social anxiety, but all of these situations that you would deal with when you're interacting with people, and say you get really, really anxious when you are talking to someone because social anxiety, and you don't know what to say, and you just can't even make a sentence. This group teaches you, or this program teaches you, how to, calm down your thoughts, think about what you're going to say, and then say it. Because if you can say it in group, you can definitely say it in real life. And, for a lot of people, that can be overwhelming, thinking of things to say in a social situation, and then, you regret what you say, and later that night at 12:30 a.m., you're up thinking for 2.5 hours about what you said in a conversation at 9 a.m. and thinking, oh my gosh, I shouldn't have said that. Why did I say that? That's so stupid. And then another 5 years later, you're thinking about it one random night, and I can't do that anymore. So this group is really good for helping me think about what I'm going to say it with confidence, say everything with confidence, folks. I mean it. You got to manifest good things, say everything with confidence. I'm telling you, it's the only way to do it, and you will not regret saying everything with confidence, because then you won't be up for hours thinking about how you shouldn't have said that thing. Anyways, going back to what I was saying about how I'm going to do a podcast in a few weeks about my program. Let me know if you guys really want to see that. I think I'm going to do it regardless, even if you guys don't let me know. Just, means something to me to be in this program. And I think that, it could be useful to someone who isn't in the program. And I want other people to have access to, some good information. And I don't want to have to hide anything from you guys. I really want to be open about everything that I'm doing and everything that I'm learning. So I think I'll end up doing one, but let me know if you guys want to hear it, because then I might do it a little bit sooner than I plan. So I think that's kind of like my whole little spiel on social anxiety and dealing with social situations, and my little update on my eating disorder and my eating disorder program. If you guys actually have any questions about maybe an eating disorder or need some help, feel free to send me a message, because I would gladly give you the number to the hospital that I've been working with. Anyways, I think that's about it, though. That's everything that I wanted to talk about today. Kind of a shorter episode for this one. Not too crazy. Didn't want to go too deep, and, didn't want to trigger anything for me and for you guys listening. But I hope that you guys really did enjoy this. If you did, make sure you guys subscribe and give it a like, thumbs up. Send it to a friend who you think would enjoy listening to this. I want everyone to know that they're not alone, and there are people out there to help you through whatever you're going through. I hope that everyone has a great week whenever you're listening to this, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye!